This is a video of Tzvika Mor at JNS addressing international policy, a video that you do not want to miss, an incredible speech. Let's talk about it after.
Hello everyone, Shalom and Chodesh Tov. Thank you for having me. I am the father of Eitan, who is still being held captive by Hamas, and who, in less than a month, will celebrate his second birthday in captivity. Our days are very difficult as a hostage family, but we are strong and optimistic and praying for our son and for good days for the people of Israel. I didn't come this morning to ask for mercy, but to remind all of us who the people of Israel are. Let's start with my family. We live in Hebron, which is the second most important and holiest place for the Jewish people. Our fathers and mothers are buried in Hebron, and King David began his reign in Hebron 7 years before he was a king in Jerusalem. This place gives us a right and strength to deal with our terrible condition. Our son Eitan is our eldest of 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. On October 7, Eitan was a security guard at the Nova Festival, saving dozens of people from certain death until he was kidnapped at 12:30. The last thing we know Eitan did was take the body of a girl who had been raped and murdered and bury her in a nearby pit. This is Eitan's character: courage, determination, and concern for others. We know Eitan is alive, and we expect to see him soon, but we are still at war with an enemy who wants to destroy us. Eitan is a great-grandson of my grandparents, most of whom were in concentration camps and survived the Holocaust. Like the Bibas family, the Nazis murdered my grandfather's wife and 2 young children. After the Holocaust, he remarried my grandmother. My grandparents came from Hungary and Romania. My wife's grandparents came from Germany and Romania. How did they know to return to the land of Israel, a place they'd never been? The answer is written in our Bible, which we gave to all humanity. This is the source of our right of this land. Since the Romans expelled us from our land, we have not stopped davening and dreaming about our land. At least 3 times a day, we davened and asked God to bring us back here. At every Jewish wedding, we mention Jerusalem. And so far, hundreds of generations, the Jewish people have passed on the memory of this land, and especially the memory of our capital city, Jerusalem. For almost 4,000 years, they have tried to destroy us and have not succeeded. We do not exist because of history. We exist in spite of history. There is no horror in the world that we have not gone through. Through the Babylonians, the Crusades, the Inquisitions, and the Holocaust. Here we are, a strong and prosperous nation. This is one volume of the Talmud, printed in Berlin in 1862, and it is Holocaust survivor, more precisely a Kristallnacht survivor, and it tells the story of us, of the Jewish people. Millions of us may be killed and burned, but the Jewish nation will remain forever. We are not a people that exist for his own sake. On the first day of our Jewish calendar, we daven for the benefit of all humanity. Even today, facing the new Nazis in Gaza, we are the messengers of humanity to destroy them. This war must end in such a way that Hamas is destroyed and surrender, and all the hostages returned to us.
Amen, amen, amen.
The state of Israel cannot accept a situation where the hostages are back and Hamas returns to control the Gaza Strip. Therefore, we at the Tikva Forum will never call to end this war and surrender to Hamas. Never. Before the war, at our Shabbat table, my children asked me, "Daddy, what was a Shalit deal? What happened there?" And I told them. A discussion began between the children about whether to release terrorists or not. In the end, Eitan told us, "If I'm taken hostage during the reserve, I will not allow you to release me in exchange for terrorists." This is the education in our family. We know Eitan as a strong and optimistic guy, and we are confident that he will hold up and hope that very soon we will be able to hug him when he returns to us. Thank you for listening, and good news for all of us. Chodesh Tov.
I want to clarify something that Tzvika said that I think will get misinterpreted for sure when others who are against Israel watch a speech like this, where he says, we refuse to end this war by surrendering to Hamas. And a lot of times when I'm seeing, sorry, there's a blue spot on my screen, when I'm seeing a lot of the rhetoric coming out against Israel, when somebody, clips something like this, it's basically them saying, look, it's a genocidal state that says that they're just going to continue to wage this war. It is a different interpretation than what Tzvika means, desires, and wants. He means that we won't surrender to those who started the war and has our families still as hostages. He means that we won't surrender to an enemy that started this war, which would basically change the entire rule and code of conduct of how people, especially those who are trying to annihilate Israel, can continue to conduct these wars in the future against us. And number three, it would mean that it is just allowing for October 7th to repeat itself more and more and more. Israel cannot surrender, has no choice but to continue to wage this war. And I have to continue to say the same thing over and over. And I think it needs to be heard over and over. Israel could have left the Gaza Strip on October 9th if the hostages were handed back and if Hamas put its weapons down. If Israel had continued to wage war and Hamas had handed the hostages back and put their weapons down, I would condemn Israel. I would hope anybody in their right mind would condemn Israel. Why would they continue to wage a war when basically Hamas gave back what it needs? But as long as they promise to continue to wage war, and as long as they continue to hold the remaining hostages, as they've killed many of them, I'm not entirely sure what the human brain is supposed to expect then of the state of Israel and its army and its security forces to do. Because if that same human that was in the same situation would find it very hard to believe that they would be advocating for its own army, its own country, when its own loved ones are still held hostage after an enemy state started a war against it. It's just a fact. Thank you so much for all your support. See you next video.
If you want to continue the conversation, you can support my work for free. Discord does not cost a thing. It is the best way to connect with me and others who are seeking the truth. The link is in the description. But if you want to take it one step further, my Patreon gives you access to the Israel you don't see, uncovering the untold stories of what mainstream media does not show you. The link is in the description, and it helps me to continue this work. Or if you're just looking to help this thing go, PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee is a really easy way to support me. This channel, this work does not happen without all of you. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you next time.